Imagine having someone completely captivated by your presence, longing for more without a single touch. Sounds impossible, right? Well, it's not. Emotional addiction isn't about physical contact. It starts in the mind. It's not about what you do, but what happens after you leave. It's the way you make them feel when you're gone. Welcome to the art of seduction without touching or kissing, where emotional hooks are stronger than physical ones. Let's dive in. True attraction doesn't start with the body, it begins with the unknown. Mystery is a powerful force that attracts, and it's all about what you don't say, not what you do. When you leave things unspoken, when you create pauses, tension, and uncertainty, it sparks curiosity. People's minds can't rest until they figure out what's been left unsaid. The human brain is wired to crave answers, to seek resolution. But when there's a gap, an unanswered question, the brain keeps working to solve the puzzle, creating an emotional attachment to the mystery. Take Cleopatra, for example. She didn't seduce Julius Caesar with her body. She seduced him by disrupting his world. She had herself smuggled into his presence, wrapped inside a carpet, and then revealed herself like an apparition from another realm. This act didn't just entice him, it shook his reality. Cleopatra wasn't just a lover, she was a force of nature. She embodied the unknown, the mysterious allure that kept Caesar guessing. And that's what made her irresistible. Caesar wasn't looking for mere desire, he was searching for something deeper, curiosity. And that's the key to emotional addiction. When you leave people guessing, withholding answers, you make them obsess over you. The mystery you create becomes a puzzle they can't stop trying to solve, and in that pursuit, they become emotionally addicted to you. It's not about showing them everything. It's about keeping enough hidden. This is where you can master emotional attraction, by withholding information, by keeping people in the dark just enough that they start craving more. You see, it's not about giving people everything they want. It's about keeping them on the edge, always coming back for more, because they can never quite figure you out. That's how you make someone think of you long after you've gone. This principle is simple but incredibly profound. If you're always available, you lose your value. Imagine being constantly accessible, always responding within minutes, always giving your time, your energy, your attention. It might seem like a good idea, but it has the opposite effect. People take you for granted. Scarcity is what makes something valuable. If you make yourself available all the time, you'll never give people the chance to miss you. Think about this. The more you give, the less people truly desire. But when you withhold your time, when you become selective with your attention, it creates a hunger in others. People start to chase you, not because you're playing a game, but because they begin to feel your absence. Picture this. When you're always around, always present, people begin to take you for granted. It's human nature. We get used to things and we stop appreciating their value. But when you disappear at just the right time, when you create enough space, people begin to wonder where you've gone. And that's when the magic happens. The void you leave behind makes them yearn for more. They begin to crave your presence like never before. This is the Casanova effect. Casanova didn't linger. He wasn't always around and he didn't wear out his welcome. Instead, he showed up suddenly, made his presence felt like a comet shooting across the sky, and then vanished before anyone could get too comfortable. He understood the power of leaving people wanting. When you leave the scene just as people start to get comfortable with your presence, you create a lasting impact. Your absence becomes a vacuum, pulling them toward you. This is where emotional addiction is born, by being just out of reach, by creating the perfect balance of availability and absence. People will crave your presence because they never know when they'll get it again. This psychological dance keeps them hooked, always seeking more, always anticipating your return. This technique is subtle, but incredibly powerful. To create emotional addiction without ever touching them, you need to mirror their emotions. People have a deep desire to feel understood, but not in some surface-level way. They want to feel deeply seen, as if someone truly gets them on a level that goes beyond words. To achieve this, you have to listen, not just with your ears, but with your whole being. Pay attention to everything. The words they say, the tone of their voice, the way their body shifts, and most importantly, the things they don't say. The silent signals their emotions send you are the key to creating deep emotional connections. When you truly understand someone's emotional needs, you reflect those feelings back to them. But here's the key. It's not about sharing your own feelings or matching their energy with yours. It's about stepping into their emotional world, truly understanding what they're going through, and showing them that you get it without the need to talk about your own experiences. When you do this, you begin to make them feel understood in a way they've never experienced before. You create a bond with them that's unspoken but deeply felt. It's the kind of connection that doesn't need to be verbalized because it's felt on a much deeper level. They won't even be able to explain it, but it will be undeniable. You become this force that makes them feel seen, like they're finally being recognized for who they truly are, flaws and all. And that's when the emotional dependence starts to grow. They'll find themselves drawn to you without understanding why, and you become irresistible not because of anything you've said about yourself, but because of the way you've made them feel about themselves. They fall for the version of themselves that they see in you, the person they've always wanted to be, reflected back through your eyes. You've made them feel truly understood, and that emotional connection will become the foundation of their growing attachment to you. This is the art of psychological seduction. So subtle, so powerful, it's almost invisible. Induction is about planting ideas in someone's mind without them ever realizing it. It's about subtly guiding their thoughts and emotions, leading them to conclusions they've come to on their own. It's like planting a seed in their mind and letting it grow without pushing them in any direction. Think about the greatest influencers in history, the ones who changed the world without ever seeming to demand attention. Cleopatra didn't beg for anyone's attention. She subtly planted ideas in people's minds, letting their curiosity drive them. She didn't tell Julius Caesar what to think or how to feel. She suggested ideas and their minds did the rest. The best seducers don't force their influence onto others. Instead, they create space for people's thoughts to wander. And in that space, they subtly guide the narrative. When you speak in open-ended phrases, when you leave gaps in your conversation, their brain works to fill in those gaps. Their mind starts working to complete the story, and in doing so, they create their own conclusions, which, because of your subtle influence, align with your goals. The beauty of induction is that it's effortless. You're not forcing anyone to think a certain way. You're simply providing the conditions that allow their mind to come to the conclusion you want them to reach. This is how you create emotional addiction, by planting the idea in their mind without them even realizing it. It's like you've led them down a path they chose on their own, but you've subtly guided them every step of the way. Desire isn't born from pleasure, it's born from anticipation. Think about it. What feels better, the kiss or the moment just before it? That fleeting second, the heat in the air, the tension in the silence, the magnetic pull that hangs between you. That's where the real magic lies. It's the longing, the suspense, the unanswered question that makes the heart race. It's the desire for something that hasn't been fulfilled yet, the craving for what could be. When you make someone wait, when you withhold the satisfaction they're craving, you're not just making them yearn for the physical act, you're making them build a mental attachment to the moment of potential. They imagine what it would feel like, and in doing so, they create an emotional connection to it. The longer the wait, the deeper the connection. But here's the trick. By not satisfying them immediately, you create a cycle that never truly resolves. The craving never stops. People will keep coming back, wondering when they'll finally get the satisfaction they've been yearning for. That's how you keep them emotionally hooked. You leave them suspended in desire, always wanting more, never fully satisfied. Ever noticed how some people just seem to radiate authority? They're not trying to impress anyone. They don't chase attention. Instead, they stay calm, composed, and centered. This is emotional mastery, the ability to control your emotions, your energy, and your response to the world around you. You don't need to chase after validation. When you master your emotions, you become magnetic. Your emotional control creates an aura that others can't resist. People admire your composure because it speaks of inner strength, of someone who is unshaken by the world around them. When you remain grounded and composed, you create an emotional climate that draws people to you. Imagine walking into a room and not needing to speak a single word. Your presence alone has the power to command attention, not because you're trying to impress anyone, not because you're putting on a show, but simply because you are. It's a quiet confidence, an energy that fills the space without you having to say anything. This is the true essence of hypnotic presence. It's a power that doesn't chase after anything, doesn't need to force anything. It simply exists. And in its existence, it becomes undeniable. Every gesture you make, every look you cast, every subtle movement you perform is deliberate, intentional, and full of purpose. You don't need to shout for attention, beg for it, or perform in any way. The attention comes to you naturally. It's like gravity. You don't have to fight for it. You simply attract it. When you live in your power, when you are truly comfortable and grounded in who you are, you command respect without uttering a single word. People don't feel the need to question your presence because they can sense it. Their minds pick up on it before their conscious thoughts can even catch up. You become a force in the room, not because of what you do or say, but because of who you are. Who you are in your truest essence holds the power. It's the magnetic pull that others feel even before they realize why. The way you carry yourself, the way you move, the quiet certainty you project. It all speaks volumes. You don't need to perform for validation. Your energy alone is enough to make people take notice, respect you, and gravitate toward you. You become a presence that people can't help but feel, and in feeling it, they are drawn into your orbit. This kind of presence doesn't require effort, doesn't need to be earned. It's the natural outcome of someone fully at peace with themselves, fully rooted in their own power. And that is the secret to hypnotic presence. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You simply are, and that's more than enough. Emotional addiction without physical contact is the art of psychological seduction. It's about creating curiosity, withholding satisfaction, and mastering your own emotional state. By giving just enough, but never fully satisfying, you create a cycle of craving and obsession. Stop chasing. Start mastering these techniques, and people will be drawn to you, unable to resist the pull of your presence. So what are you waiting for? Step into your power and become the enigma they'll never forget.